Hi, my name's Simon Masters. I'm a solicitor here at CG Naylor LLP. I'm the head of the firm's leasehold reform department, which means I specialise in, amongst other things, lease extensions and collective enfranchisements. I'm talking today about the decision Mundy and the Sloane Stanley estate that was handed down by the Court of Appeal. The decision concerned the extension of a lease in Chelsea where there were fewer than 80 years left to run. The leaseholder had to pay marriage value as part of the premium. Marriage value is 50% of the difference between the combined value of the leaseholder's and landlord's interest in the property before the lease has been extended and the combined value of their interests after it has been extended. What often happens is that the combined value of both the landlord's and leaseholder's interests after the lease has been extended is larger than the combined value of their interests before the lease has been extended. Additional value is therefore created as a result of the lease extension, and it's 50% of this additional value that is payable by the leaseholder in addition to the premium on completion of the lease extension. In order to value the leaseholders' and landlord's interests before the lease has been extended, the valuer has to assume, as is required by the leasehold reform legislation, that there is no right to extend the lease. This is often described as the no-act world, a world in which there is no leasehold reform act which would allow a leaseholder to claim a longer lease from their landlord. In order to arrive at this valuation, a valuer will often look for comparable real-world evidence, so perhaps recent sales of flats in the same building or similar flats in the same area, and then apply a discount rate to arrive at the no-act world value. The discount rate will be usually arrived at by recourse to what are called graphs of relativity. These graphs will plot sales data that was collected before the advent of the leasehold reform legislation. It's this method that the leaseholder in the Sloane Stanley estate decision objected to, on the grounds that it was now unreliable given the changes to the UK property market, perhaps even the UK economy as a whole. They therefore sought to introduce a new approach to working out the value of a short lease in a world in which there's no right to extend the lease. To do this, they sought to value the length of a lease as distinct from the value of the flat as a whole. In the same way that you might be able to work out the value that a balcony will add to a flat, or perhaps a second or third bedroom, they sought to isolate the value of the lease. It was this that the Court of Appeal rejected in the Sloane Stanley decision, and one of the reasons that they objected to it was when put into practice, it produced the counterintuitive result that a flat with a short lease, where it was assumed there was no right to extend the lease, was found to be worth more than the same flat in the real world. As a result, valuers will continue to use real-world evidence and apply a rate of relativity, a discount rate, to arrive at the assumed value of the flat in a no-act world. The advice to leaseholders, therefore, is, as always, where possible, extend your lease before it drops below 80 years, in which case you will avoid paying marriage value altogether.